On the path of spirituality, the initial step taken with attentiveness transforms into the ultimate step. Yet, even a trace of oblivion, and you find yourself right back where you began. You must have observed a simple children's pastime, snakes and ladders. At every move, there is both an ascent and a descent. If your step lands on a ladder, you ascend. If it falls upon a snake, you slide down. This game mirrors existence itself. One can stumble even when standing at the threshold of success, and one can revert to the starting point even from the final step. Conversely, one can also reach the pinnacle from the very first move. This is why vigilance at the first step is crucial. Yet, even greater caution is needed at the final stage. In the beginning, there is nothing to lose. So, even minimal awareness suffices. At the outset, everything is a gain. There is no loss. Even if you remain inattentive, there is no detriment because you possess nothing yet. The voyage has just commenced. But at the ultimate step, immense mindfulness is required. A slight miscalculation, and everything can dissipate. What was within grasp, what was nearly attained, can suddenly elude you. Just as risk exists at the start, so do hazards, perhaps even greater ones at the finish line. The first pitfall is procrastination. I will begin tomorrow or the day after. You keep deferring. Delaying is the greatest risk of the initial step. You continuously hope to take action one day. Gradually, postponement turns into a habit. Days turn into weeks, weeks into years. If the journey never begins, how can it ever conclude? The second challenge at the start is entering into conflict. Instead of moving harmoniously with the course, you resist it. You perceive an adversary where there is none, viewing nature not as an ally but as an opponent. This creates an internal struggle as if life itself is a battlefield. No one has ever reached the ultimate truth through resistance. There is no external adversary. You are only grappling with your own illusions, your own reflections. Fighting a shadow leaves you drained. Even if you triumph, what have you actually gained? And if you falter, it only diminishes your self assurance. There are two primary obstacles: delay and conflict. The way to bypass them is simple. Whatever needs to be done, do it immediately. The present moment is all that exists. If you drift away from this moment, seeking refuge in the future, you are already lost. And when you move, do so in alignment with the flow of existence, in surrender, not in resistance. Those who have realized the highest truths have always moved with the current, never against it. The desire to oppose is the work of the ego, and ego is the only barrier. Spiritual wisdom emphasizes inaction because in inaction there is no room for ego to thrive. The moment you act with an identity, ego arises. I have done this, I have accomplished that, I have attained this wisdom. But in non doing, virtue emerges spontaneously, knowledge unfolds naturally, and illumination spreads effortlessly. Everything transpires without effort. In surrender, ego dissolves. In struggle, it strengthens. These are the perils of the initial step. Now let us examine the hazards of the final stage. Once they are understood, entry into the ultimate truth becomes smoother. The first risk of the final step is something that any seasoned traveler knows well. The journey is entirely self propelled. There is no external transport to carry you to the divine. You must rely on your own will and effort. If you have ever walked a pilgrimage to Badrinath, Kedarnath, or even climbed a mountain to witness the sunrise, you may have noticed that the greatest exhaustion sets in when the destination is near. When the goal is distant, you sustain yourself with anticipation, urging yourself forward just a little more, just a little more. But as you approach the final threshold, when the goal is right before you, you feel tempted to pause. In an ordinary journey, this is not problematic, but in the pursuit of ultimate truth, it can be disastrous because that final temple is not fixed in space. The temple of spirituality is not a static entity. Its nearness depends on your level of awareness. As long as you remain present, it stays close. The moment you relax in complacency, it resets into the distance. When you near the last step, when everything becomes illuminated, when truth is almost tangible, your entire being may whisper, "Now I can rest." There is no hurry. If at that crucial moment lethargy overcomes you, if carelessness seeps in, when you next open your eyes, you may find yourself back at the very beginning. There is only one way to distance yourself from realization: complacency. There is only one way to drift away from truth: heedlessness. The thought "I have arrived" is the greatest hazard. The moment it arises, your pace slows, your vigilance diminishes, and if you succumb to this illusion, all your efforts can be undone in an instant. I have observed many reach the brink of truth only to step back unknowingly. They get a fleeting glimpse, and that very glimpse becomes their downfall. The moment they taste the divine, their ego tightens its grip. Their posture changes. They start believing they have become something exceptional, distinct from others. Until complete awakening done, always consider yourself a seeker, never from illusions of being an advanced practitioner or having special experience. If you do, you will grip them tightly, and holding on means halting progress. Let go and keep advancing until nothing remains but the boundless. That you are not the doer. This is the supreme realization. The essence of true religion. Many experiments have been devised to bring this understanding to life. The concept of fate is one such experiment to help people grasp that all unfolds according to greater design. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna tells Arjuna, "Surrender all action to the divine. Let it be done through you, not by you. Do not place yourself in the middle." Krishna's entire teaching is this: do not be a fool who claims to be the doer. The one standing on the battlefield today were already slain before they arrived. Their hour of departure has come. This is his play. Do not interfere. Namaskar.